This is the moment the entire country held its breath.
Courtney Vine at her first World Cup can write the Matildas into history. Cue the party!
Hello, I'm Paul Barry. Welcome to Media Watch. And what a heart-stopping moment that was, with the Matildas creating history after beating France in a penalty shootout thriller that left everyone delirious, with Perth's Sunday Times calling the game
epic
and adding,
sport does not get better than that.
Praise too for the team across all the Sunday front pages, with the Telegraph saying
Magnifique Matildas.
And the TV ratings were magnifique as well, delivering one of the biggest audiences in 2 decades, with more than 4 million people watching on 7 and almost 500,000 on 7+.
To compare, Ash Barty's Australian Open final had just over 4 million viewers. Similar numbers for the Origin's high point 2014 and the AFL's best in 2016.
It is the 3rd week in a row the Matildas have smashed the TV records, confirming yet again that they are the hottest ticket in Australian sport. And what a difference a decade makes, with the Telegraph's Buzz Rothfield reminding readers that when the Matildas played Brazil in Brisbane in 2014...
the first game attracted a crowd of only 2,583.
And he says the second game was even worse, with demand so low it was played
behind closed doors because it would have been too costly to open the stadium. It was empty, 50,000 vacant seats and zero atmosphere. Brisbane's Courier Mail newspaper ran just a 6-paragraph match report. Now it's 6 pages.
A crowd of 80,000 is expected to watch Australia play England in Sydney this Wednesday for a place in the World Cup final. And many, many more at live sites around the country. Will more TV records be broken? Will the Matildas go all the way? Who knows? But what I can say is we'll all be watching. But now, to what will be the fight of the century, if it goes ahead, with 2 of the world's richest men behind 2 of the world's biggest social media companies set to duke it out in the ring.
Brace yourselves. We're one step closer to witnessing Musk and Zuck bare knucks in an online fight to the death.
Seriously? Tech billionaires in a fist fight? We're told the answer is yes. And put 26th of August in the diary as the pundits try to pick the winner.
If Zuckerberg's really training and Elon Musk prides himself on not training at all, he'll last 45 seconds.
Yeah, but Elon has a move that he calls the walrus, and so he just lies on top of his opponent and does nothing because he is larger.
But will it really go ahead? Ringside commentators like tech blogger Ed Zitron and NBC reporter Ben Collins find it hard to believe.
Do you think the whole story is bollocks, though?
Yeah. Yes. Of course.
So do you think the fight happens at all?
I don't know, man. How stupid is this, though?
Stupid enough for Musk in particular, who is 52 and out of condition, facing Zuckerberg, who's 13 years younger and trains as a fighter.
For Elon's sake, I really hope this does not happen, because he might actually die, and I don't know what the world would do if the second richest man in the world died in the equivalent of like a duel in 2023.
So, what is the feud about? Well, on 6th of July, Zuck's company Meta, which owns 3 of the world's biggest social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram and WhatsApp, launched a new platform called Threads, which has been billed as a Twitter killer, thus threatening to do even more damage to the brand that Musk has been busy trashing. Musk paid a whopping $44 billion to buy Twitter last October. But, as he admitted last month, it has been a train wreck.
The relatively new owner of Twitter, Elon Musk, has revealed that it's lost more than half of its advertising revenue since he bought the platform last October.
Musk is considered by many, including himself, to be a genius. But the man who co-founded PayPal, helped build Tesla and sends rockets into space, has seen Twitter lose 2/3 of its value, according to Fidelity, who financed the buyout. And last month, after Threads was launched, The Guardian was reading the funeral rites.
A eulogy for Twitter.
The place we journalists loved, for better or worse. Twitter was our Paris bar in the 1920s, our Berlin cafe.
A platform that helped fuel uprisings, insurrections, and at least one pivotal American presidency. Today, Twitter is a ghost town.
And Elon Musk has largely himself to blame. When he walked in the door last October, carrying a sink, yes, really, Twitter was basically free to use. But in an effort to recoup the billions he spent, Musk changed all that and caused users to reach for the off button. And some media organisations have done the same, despite having millions of followers. US public broadcasters, PBS and NPR, ditched their key Twitter accounts in April after Musk branded them state media. And last week, the ABC shut down almost all its accounts, citing
toxic interactions, cost and better interaction with ABC content on other social media platforms.
That prompted Musk to hit back at Auntie and give Facebook and Zuck a kick in the process.
Well, of course they prefer censorship-friendly social media. The Australian public does not.
But the figures don't support that claim because Twitter has far fewer users than Facebook, Instagram and WhatsApp. And according to the boffins at SimilarWeb, world traffic on Twitter is down 7.3% from last year, although Twitter, now X, insists it's actually at record levels. And financially, the picture is even bleaker, as Musk admitted to the BBC in April, in slashing the workforce from 8,000 to 1,500, it's been a stressful time.
You know, the issue is like the company's either going to go bankrupt or if we do not cut costs immediately, this is not a caring, uncaring situation. It's like if the whole ship sinks, then nobody's got a job.
So, what has gone wrong? Well, almost everything. Musk caused chaos from the start by sacking engineers who kept the site working and firing moderators who police hate speech, causing major advertisers to walk out en masse. He then angered users by reinstating high-profile accounts that Twitter had banned for spreading fake news, or in Trump's case, inciting violence.
Breaking political news overnight, Elon Musk reinstating former President Trump's Twitter account, which had been suspended after the January 6th riot.
And he sparked yet more anger by charging users for their free blue ticks that verified people were genuine, while also making them available to anyone who paid. Most who were verified refused to comply, with users 6 times more likely to quit than pay up. But others who weren't genuine bought the tick, with some then doing what verification was designed to prevent.
Several Twitter accounts with a blue tick have recently promoted a claim that Russia has discovered baby factories in Ukraine. Children between the ages of 2 and 7 are said to be factory farmed and either sent to child sex brothels or to have their organs harvested and sold in the West.
Then, on 1st of July, Musk angered users again by slapping a limit on the number of tweets that people without blue ticks could view, which had the media asking,
could this limit cause users to go to other platforms for information?
To which the answer was yes, with the changes triggering yet more desertions to Mastodon, Blue Sky, and most of all to Threads, with Musk's would-be cage-fight opponent, Mark Zuckerberg, boasting in just over 36 hours
70 million sign-ups on Threads as of this morning, way beyond our expectations.
And 3 days later, Forbes was reporting
Threads now fastest growing app in history, with 100 million users in just 5 days.
Which was closing fast on Twitter's 238 million active daily users. So, suddenly, we all loved Zuck, Musk was threatening to sue, and everyone was asking, will Threads KO Twitter? So far, the verdict seems to be no, because Threads is too nice, too bland, and not doing hard news, which Twitter users want. And the tech heads hate it.
Threads is all the worst parts of Twitter and Instagram in one very bad app.
Threads sucks shit. It has no purpose. It is for no one.
Mark Zuckerberg's Threads? The app is vapid, boring, and destined to fail.
It is now 6 weeks since Threads went live, and user numbers have dropped off dramatically.
With daily user count down a staggering 81%, and just 8 million people logging on daily.
But Meta is still improving the app by adding features that Twitter addicts rely on. And with Facebook, WhatsApp and Instagram hugely successful, with billions of users, you'd be brave to bet that Threads will fail. Its challenge will be to get a crowd to gather on its platform. In the meantime, there certainly will be a crowd on X if it streams that cage fight in 2 weeks' time. But now to another breach of Australia's commercial radio decency standards. And no prizes for guessing who has copped the slap.
Kyle Sandilands breached decency standards with monkeypox comments, says Watchdog.
We highlighted Sandilands' ugly take on the monkeypox virus on Media Watch a year ago, with the FM shock jock revelling in remarks like this.
The big gay disease floating around. It's only the gays getting it. It's rampant through the gay world, Jackie. It's the new AIDS.
As we pointed out, it is nothing of the sort. But Sandilands also trumped ignorance with prejudice, saying he wouldn't let his young son go near his openly gay newsreader, Brooklyn, and giving this advice to medical professionals.
If I was a doctor, I'd put a sign up. No monkeypox patients admitted.
Oh, you can't do that as a doctor. You can't, no.
I think you can do whatever you want as a doctor. You don't have to have every Tom, Dick and bloody dirty monkeypox victim coming in there, do you?
Not surprisingly, complaints were made to the broadcast media watchdog, and almost exactly a year later, the ACMA has ruled that Kiss FM breached decency standards, with Chair Nerida O'Loughlin damning Sandilands' comments as
overly disparaging and insulting.
So, will it make any difference? Almost certainly not. Because being disparaging and insulting makes a mozza for Sandilands and his employer ARN and brings in $20 million worth of advertising every year, on one estimate. And previous breaches by Sandilands have not prevented this one, which is the second in 6 months. Once again, the penalty will be for Kyle and his team to undertake sensitivity training. We'll see how that one plays out. The last breach also led Sandilands' employer to hire a second censor for his programme to avoid further breaches. And with a reported 30-second delay, there is time to press the dump button. So, how is that working? Well, don't laugh, but here is one of them chatting to Sandilands in May.
Okay, what do you call your vagina there, censor? Here she's talking, everyone.
When I'm in a relationship, I affectionately refer to it as dinner.
Oh,
Censor.
Yeah.
Dinner's waiting.
And she has the audacity to censor us.
And here is a more worrying example from the middle of last month. And profanity warning, what you're about to hear is pretty gross.
Guys, this morning I masturbated, right? And I'm so lazy this morning, I came without even, the penis was not even half hard. And I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to put it on the back burner for a couple of days. Because it's just too much detail. Sensor's waving her hands around.
Waving her hands, but not pressing the dump button. And you can rest assured, this formula, where nothing is out of bounds, is not going to change anytime soon. With Kyle greeting a huge rating success in June by promising,
if we pull a 20 share, I'll jerk it off live on air.
It makes you wonder why you have censors and a watchdog when stuff like that continues to go to air. They might just as well shut up shop and go home. But now to the housing crisis and a push by the Greens for a national rent freeze.
The federal Greens have laid down a challenge to the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, saying that if he can give the country a day off if the Matildas win the World Cup, then he can hurry up and fix the housing crisis.
The Prime Minister is seeking a deal at Cabinet this week to strengthen renters' rights amid a political fight over his proposed $10 billion housing fund. And on Wednesday, 10 News spoke to one renter who
lives in fear that she'll end up living on the street.
I have a window that doesn't close and I am afraid to complain about that.
Kristen O'Connell told Channel 10 her rent had increased by $90 a week and her disability pension only just covered it.
Today, I had to ask someone to send me money so I can pay for my medication.
And Kristen was unimpressed with the political debate.
It's so frustrating to see the petty arguments that they're having about it.
So, who is Kristen O'Connell? Well, she's not just any renter, and she's certainly no media novice. Here she is in April on SBS expressing fears over losing her disability support pension, billed there as an NDIS recipient.
Makes me feel scared for everyone around me, but it also makes me feel like it's inevitable that they will find a way to cut me off.
She's also featured several times on the ABC, and if you look at news website Crikey, you'll see Kristen also dabbles in journalism and ripped into the government's housing plan in February. So it's pretty clear that O'Connell is a political activist, something pointed out by Labour's advertising guru Dee Madigan in June.
Tired of the media touting anti-poverty centre Kristen O'Connell as a non-partisan commentator who just happens to hate Labor.
And O'Connell is not just the co-founder of the Anti-Poverty Centre and former spokesperson for the Australian Unemployed Workers Union. Here she is on Tom Ballard's podcast Serious Danger last year, which is
This is a podcast about green politics in Australia,
where she is introduced as the
former National Greens Secretary.
Christine O'Connell has been heavily involved with the Greens for years, as a volunteer since 2015 and as Deputy and then National Greens Secretary from 2017. Christine told Media Watch she left that role in 2018 and hasn't been a member of the party for 18 months, although this profile about her time as National Secretary is still featured on the Greens website. So, why didn't 10 News disclose to viewers that the renter featured in their story, which is all about how
The Greens claim a rent freeze could have saved tenants billions.
is a spokesperson for the Anti-Poverty Centre who has spent years campaigning for the Greens. 10 told us
10 News First was not made aware that she used to have links to the Greens.
Christine O'Connell has every right to argue her case, and we're not discrediting her views, but the media has a responsibility to tell viewers which team she's batting for. You can read full statements from her and Channel 10 on our website. And that is all from us for tonight. Don't forget Media Bites on Facebook, YouTube and Instagram. But for now, until next week, goodbye.